Okay, hello everybody. My name's Ralph DeFlorio. I am the Director of Operations here at the Harvard Divinity School on the first day of autumn. And I am with Munjed Murad. And Munjed is a student, a doctoral student here at the Divinity School. He's a junior fellow at the Study of World Religions. He's an Islamic scholar and also has an undergraduate degree or a master's degree from Yale University in forestry. So if there's ever been anybody that's well suited to talk about sustainability in religion, here we are. So I'd like to just have you talk a little bit about your journey from Yale and a forestry program to the Divinity School.
Yes, my interests at the Yale School of Forestry and Environmental Studies and here at the Harvard Divinity School have been on religion and the environment. And it's unfortunate that I can't attend this conference. It addresses a topic that I'm dedicated to very much so in my academic career and outside of it. But I'm glad that I can be there in spirit and by video as well.
Yeah. And so with Islam and how it intersects with sustainability, could you talk a little bit about that, maybe the historical context and what it means today?
Yes. So Islam has always maintained a sacred view of nature.
Yeah.
The question of sustainability comes today because we aren't in a balance with nature. And the Islamic view of nature was always one of oneness, a oneness of the natural and of the supernatural together, no clear demarcation between the two. And sustainability comes about in that maintenance of a harmony between humanity, nature, by means of science and understanding God through nature.
So you feel like we've been a little bit disenfranchised from God through science? Is that the way things have progressed or regressed?
Well, yes, regress, that's a good word for it. So the sacred was always in nature for all traditions. That statement about there being no clear demarcation between the natural and the supernatural is quite applicable to pretty much all sacred traditions. It's a fascinating pattern that of the Buddhists of the East to the Native Americans of the West, no clear demarcation was held between the natural and the supernatural. You have some exceptions over history for good reason. But it's an interesting phenomenon, and only with, say, the Renaissance onwards do we see a divorce between the natural and the supernatural, and later a denial of the supernatural altogether. And that, I would posit, is at the heart of the environmental crisis today.
And one of your, I think, points that was really interesting for me to understand in your wonderful paper was there is a way back. There is a way with the climate crisis that we have to sort of refocus and get re-engaged with this connection between religion and the environment. And I wonder if you could sort of talk about that a little bit more.
Yes. Well, let's first address the problem. The problem is rooted in a worldview that no longer sees the sacred in nature, partly because it no longer sees the sacred at all. And in no longer seeing nature for its sacred qualities, no longer seeing it connected to the divine in any way whatsoever, one cannot but treat it as physical property. And that you can see leads to a destructive worldview in which a tree no longer symbolizing transcendence, the absolute in its trunk and the infinite in its branches, no longer being that, but rather now a source of paper, aesthetic scenery, and so forth.
It's a commodity almost.
It becomes a commodity. Yeah. You can see what that does, what would happen to nature on a civilizational scale. So the problem is rooted in a denial of the supernatural, of the sacred. And so a solution must involve a reintegration of the sacred into our worldview, into our understanding of what nature is. That's primarily it. That's the way of seeing things. That should be our thought process. That then should in turn inform our practices, which involves a sacred science of nature primarily, because the sciences today no longer compared to Babylonian astronomers, compared to Islamic chemists who at the same time were alchemists. Today, juxtaposed to then, there's no longer a recognition of the sacred and no longer a treatment of nature as the sacred. So we need a sacred science. Then, in addition to that, an active involvement from the part of churches, mosques, and so forth, religious communities, in things regarding the natural environment. Because if you leave it to those who have no religious affiliation, and there are contributions, there are strong and good contributions from them, but if you leave it to their hands alone, then you'll never get to the point of seeing the sacred in nature from the sacred, capital S's, eyes.
Yeah, and so a lot of it is education and using Islam, in your case, as the traditional path to reconnect. And so that's a lot of work.
It is. It is.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It took a lot to get us here, and it will take us a lot to get back, if one could say. And let's say it is a lot, but it is all necessary.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but it's necessary.
Yeah, we're all in this together.
Yes. And it's quite doable. It starts, first of all, with just seeing and understanding things differently, one step at a time. It's not that hard of a process.
Hopefully we'll get there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.